Still Mom project is located world-based, like I'm saying, because, you know, I'm in Luxembourg. Vasiliki, where are you in Greece?
Now I am in Spain. I'm originally from Greece, as you know, but now I live in Spain. So currently I am in Spain. We can expand. We have Greek people watching us. And actually now in Greece, it's a bank holiday. So thank you all, my Greek friends, that they joining the live, even though they are out, enjoying, celebrating. Yes.
That's perfect. So that's good for you. Then we can have live session with lots of questions. So maybe I will introduce a project. So maybe the Still Mom project is about a woman who's it's actually happened because of me, because I suffered a miscarriage. So I wanted to create some project who would be supporting women during this sensitive time. So the project came into my mind to create like a Still Mom, so project for all women who suffered a miscarriage and so forth. But the project is not only for women who suffer miscarriage. Project itself is for the women communities, to support women in general of the topic, like about various topics and so forth. So for us, it's already the third live session, I think. So I'm very happy that Vasiliki is our next guest who joined this live session to discuss about this project more in details and so forth. So maybe I want to introduce Vasiliki yourself. Why you joined Still Mom project, why you became nutritionist yourself, and so forth. So now I give all audience to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So a little introduction about me is basically that I'm a clinical nutritionist and dietitian with my master's in clinical nutrition in health and disease. And I currently live and working in Spain, while in the past I was working in Greece as well, in clinics, hospitality, like well-being hotels, rehabilitation centers. So I have, let's say, a lot of experience in that field. But when it comes to women fertility, women health, hormones, of course, after miscarriages, pregnancy, it was always a very, very important and interesting part for me as well, because I had a lot of clients myself suffered from all this stuff, and not only suffering, but as well, yes, let's say they try to conceive, so they need some nutritional support, or they want to lose weight after their pregnancies. It does not mean that you have a problem, an issue to solve with the nutrition. So having all these women asking for help, for support, it inspired me a lot, and this is why I wanted to join Still Mom, because actually Still Mom is focused on all these things: the hormonal balance, the rebuild and restore our bodies after the miscarriage, the pregnancy, everything. So since we cover all these topics, and it is a worldwide thing, because it's not that we are based in Luxembourg or Spain or Greece, we are everywhere. These were the two pillars, the fundamental pillars for me wanting to join the project. And I try to bring my expertise in this because of my clients, that I learned a lot from them actually. And as we saying, nutrition, we put it as a comment as well, nutrition is the fundamental fuel for our bodies and psychology when it comes to every procedure in our bodies. So mental clarity, overall health, long-term longevity is about nutrition. And as we say at Still Mom, we have 6 pillars of holistic trauma recovery. And the first one is nutrition. Maybe some think that it's psychology or exercise, which are actually, but the first one is nutrition. Of course, it's nutrition.
Yeah, that's very good that you already spoke about holistic approach, because you are very correct. Like, Stillman is focused on holistic approach itself, because it's very important for human. Like you said yourself, human is everything. You know, it's body, mind, it's spirit, heart. Yes, it's all together comes like all pillars. But in general, like nutrition was. I will be very sincere. I didn't pay attention as much to nutrition myself. But then that and nutrition is, like you said yourself, it's a very broad topic. You know, it's like I wrote down lots of topics that we want to discuss, like, you know, it's hormones, menopause, pregnancy, miscarriage, fertility, lose weight. But I don't think we will be able to cover all these topics today. So maybe we will have another session. We will speak about other topics, you know, like that, because women are going through this menopause. That's another very interesting topic for me, because women are very stressed about it. But as now we are focused, today's session, we want to speak about fertility, about miscarriage and healing process, how it supports women. Because when I suffer miscarriage, I didn't receive as much attention from nutrition perspective, you know. When I went to the hospital, they gave me to drink iron. They didn't give me enough information about nutrition itself. Like, do I need to eat something? Do I need to, how I need to support myself? What I need to eat? I didn't receive at all attention to this topic. And when I started to do my research, you know, like how to build my body back to be healthy again. And like you said, nutrition came up like a pillar one. It's like the most important topic itself that was missed even in hospitals to provide this information. So that for me was very shocking, and that's why I created this community. Like, I invited nutritionists to support us during this topic. And maybe let's talk about nutrition itself. Can you say to me, like in simple terms, so what is nutrition, you know, like what are nutritions?
Exactly. So to start, and I will answer, of course, your question. While you were speaking, I was thinking, and I already knew a bit about your story, of course. I was thinking, how is it even possible not to give a woman that suffered miscarriage the basic macronutrients and micronutrients after this situation? Like, it's not even possible. Your body, in order to rebuild and restore all that it lost, need the nutrition. It's not only about supplements. It's not only about the meds that they give you. It's nutrition. And since you asked, let's start slowly, but by the exact nutrients that you need, because without those, you cannot recover. You cannot recover only with medication and supplements. You cannot. So, first of all, when we suffer a miscarriage, what happens in our bodies? It's not only that we suffer because we are in pain, we suffer because we think a lot, we are in pain, physical and emotional. So in order to solve these issues, we need some nutrients that will help for both, for the body and for the mind. So first of all, we need the folic acid and the vitamins B. Why? Because these key points, fundamental ones, fundamental nutrients, are essential for hormonal balance. So in order for us to take down the cortisol, the stress hormone, we are suffering stress after the loss. So in order for us to minimize this hormone, so therefore the stress, we need the folic acid, the vitamin B, the vitamins of the complex B, to start reducing the cortisol, first of all, both for minds and bodies. Where do we find these? The green leafy vegetables, spinach, broccoli, lettuce. We can find as well at the nuts or some fortified foods, like some cereals that we can read the labels and we can see that it is fortified with some vitamins B and the folic acid. And of course, some of us may need supplements. But this, I can advise someone likewise when I see the blood analysis. So it's not that I can tell now that for everybody is adequate to take the supplements.
Yeah.
But when you eat the green leafy vegetables, the legumes, the egg yolks, the fortified grains, as we said, you take all the folic acid that we need and the vitamins B, of the complex B. These two key nutrients can help you with the egg quality as well. Not only the hormonal balance, as I said, but the egg quality. So if your goal is to conceive again later on, for the egg quality that you need a good one, these two are fundamental. Then we have the iron. The iron is very, very important again and essential in order to rebuild the blood stores, especially if you suffered a lot of bleeding after the miscarriage, which is very common. Yeah. You can tell us more about it. We need the iron to support this system, the blood. You can find it in red meat, poultry. If you don't eat meat, you can find it in legumes, but here you need to note that in order to have a high iron absorbed by your body, you need to have vitamin C with this. For example, lentils with some orange juice or red peppers, which are high in vitamin C. So combining these two, you have iron that your body can absorb. This is a tip, let's say, a kind of tip.
That's a really interesting tips I can give because I didn't know that, because I told you myself, they gave me just to drink, like you said, iron, and that's it. And when to drink it, meal after meal with vitamin, like you said, C, so it absorbs better. Nobody gave me misinformation, and it's already like very beneficial for a woman to know. And I will point it out to yourself, like there is so many iron, so many supplements, so many. To go to the shop or I don't know, like pharmacy, how do I will know what is the best? For me, like you said, you will as nutritionist provide me the best product. What will be best for me?
Yes, you need to ask a nutritionist, and the nutritionist, based on your blood analysis, that's why I said since the beginning, we cannot give information like in general for everybody, because it's not for everybody. For example, myself, I have anemia, so I need iron and some other supplements, but it's not the same. The iron I take is not the same iron that you take after miscarriage. Because I have a continuous, let's say, issue with my health. So I need something more with more milligrams of iron, and maybe you don't, because you don't miss iron. You only need it after the miscarriage because of the bleeding, for example. So we need blood analysis every time. And this is very important to say to people, because the culture of the nutrition and diet out there is like, oh, I have a friend that has a recommendation about iron supplements or a diet to lose weight, so I will use this of my friend.
And we follow the friend's advice, Oh, I heard that it works for me, I will.
And you can harm yourself. You can harm yourself, because if you take a lot of something that you don't need, this actually can harm, like when you have a deficiency. It's not only the deficiencies that can harm us, it's the over intake of something that we need for our organs.
Yeah, even like you said, I read a little bit before our session about nutrition as well, and I read that the World Health Organization even advises women to drink vitamin D before she's trying to conceive a baby. I didn't know that, because I thought you have to drink iron, because my doctors advised me to drink iron to support myself, but I didn't know it was as well the recommendation and so forth. And I think it's very as well important to tell the people, if I drink too much vitamin D, it can also harm my body. Is it correct? Like, myself.
Yes, it is correct. It is correct. Um, because especially for your bone health, when you have vitamin D, sorry, with magnesium that can help one and the other to be absorbed of your body, you can harm your bone system, you can harm your skin, your liver.
Yeah.
Almost everything is metabolized, of course, by a lot of organs in our body, but mostly the liver. One organ that get affected is the liver. So every vitamin, even protein, if we have protein in excess without using it, without the muscles using it, without our bodies in general using it, what our bodies do? Our bodies are not stupid, sorry. So it stores it as fat, because
For
what else can
energy.
it do? As fat, and the liver get affected.
Yeah,
So
yes.
everything in excess, not only the vitamins, but the protein, as we said, and everything can be harmful. It's not only the deficiency that harms us. So the tip, the advice that we give here, the audience, is always personalize your diet, your supplementation, your medicine. You can ask your doctor, you can ask your nutritionist, and that's all, and they will tell you. Because as we said, I have anemia. You cannot take my supplementation if you don't have anemia.
Even advise us how to lose weight, or how to gain weight, because
Exactly.
I think even your body reacts differently, even to the food and to the every supplement. So that is a good point. So basically, Vasiliki, when client wants to book a session with you, he has to come with a blood test in order.
Yes.
You can't accept clients without blood test during your session.
I can accept, and we can do the first
Yeah.
session that I take the history and everything. But then at some point, of course, I will need the blood analysis, so they can schedule an appointment with their doctors to have the blood analysis, and then continuously the second appointment or the third or whatever might need, we will check the blood analysis and continue accordingly.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you, Vasim, okay, like you give me advices, what should I take, what should I drink after I suffer miscarriage. I'm trying to follow your advices. How much and how often do I need to follow up with that information? Once per week, twice a week. When I know when to stop this healing process, or recovery, let's say, journey.
Yes. Again, the first key point is that it needs to be personalized. Some of us, we can be recovered, healed in some months, especially when it comes to women that they can conceive again after some months. So it's okay. But some of us that we cannot conceive directly, or we struggle a bit more because we are different, it might need some more months or even a year and more.
Mhm.
I always suggest in my with my personal clients at the beginning to do the follow-ups um, twice per month. Twice per month. So 2 weeks. We have the first session, 2 weeks pass, and we have the second. Because at the beginning, we need to know each other. You need maybe to have a bit more of control, let's say, until you get used to the diet, to the advice and everything. And I will support you more there, being more there in person, online. And then when you have the tools and you are able to continue yourself, maybe once per month or once per 2 months. This is like a small plan about the recovery until you feel ready and you have all the tools to continue yourself. Even if your goal is to conceive again, or you are already pregnant and you want to give birth, or you want to lose some weight and you lost the weight that you wanted, whatever you need, this is the process that I suggest always. A bit more the beginning and less when we come to an end, because supposedly you already have the control and the tools you need. But Inga, sorry, because you said something that it was very important, and I want to say something on that about the vitamin D. We started talking about miscarriages, and I already mentioned the folic acid, the iron, and the vitamins B. The vitamin D is very, very important, not only for the body, as we said, the skin, the bones, everything, but for the mood as well. And as we said at the beginning, it's not only the body that we need to heal.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the inside of the mind. So vitamin D and magnesium are the key micronutrients that I wanted to mention when it comes to mood as well, to start feeling better. Vitamin D, especially when it comes from the sun, the main source of vitamin C is exposing ourselves to the sun.
Yeah.
And then some foods, of course, like
in Luxembourg sometimes during
for you in September.
so it's difficult to get sun, you know. Even I know from Lithuania originally, and I know how my friends suffering 6 months without sun. So we have to take supplements already to survive, you know, like emotionally, not even physically.
Emotionally, exactly. But yes, this happens a lot to countries that they don't have a lot of sun or not too much during the year. You already take supplementation. Another tip here, because we like tips, is that if you combine the vitamin C with magnesium, you help the vitamin D and magnesium to be absorbed. So when you take, and vitamin D needs some fat in order to be absorbed. So when you take your supplementation, you need to take it with food, not without. So for example, you can eat a yogurt even with 2% or 5% of fat, not 0, and the vitamin D supplement.
So another good question. So when I buy even food, I need to take a label and to see the consistency of every, like you said, yogurt. So it has to have particular fats, particular. And when I go to shop, I see a woman reading these labels. Now I understand why, because
of course
you have to understand what you're consuming.
And nowadays it is very important because we have a lot of information, especially when it comes to food.
Even Vasiliki, even magnesium. It's so many types of magnesium that I don't know which one to take, because I went to the doctor and she told me, you have to understand which type of magnesium you want. One helps you to sleep better, one helps your bones to function better, and I didn't know this information,
Exactly. And this tells us again about the personalizing, as we were talking, but in order to help a bit more, because I understand that people need something, not only general information, we can give some tips. Of course, I will always keep up with this, that everything needs to be personalized. But as a general tip again, in order for you to start from somewhere and to take something out of this live session, is that when it comes to magnesium, you can choose by looking, for example, how much magnesium you need to take. Based on the Food Safety Authority, EFSA, the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, we need approximately 300 when it comes to healthy adult women. And when we talk about pregnancy and lactation, we need even more, 310 to 360. So if you want to choose magnesium, you can start by looking the consumption of the supplement you take. And then when you combine the magnesium with the vitamin D, as we said, you can have a better absorption. So with these two tips, you can start looking for a magnesium. And as we said, magnesium and vitamin D are the key macronutrients that we need for your mood as well, not only your body. So if you feel a bit lost, in pain, suffering, which is completely normal after a miscarriage, base your nutrition in these: magnesium, vitamin D, iron, folic acid, and vitamins B. And because we talked about the supplementation, but we need to talk about food as well.
Yeah.
We already.
I would, okay, like for example, when I suffer miscarriage, how often do I need to eat per day? And what food is the best? You know my point, because you mentioned very correctly. You are suffering emotionally, you are suffering physically, you completely lost yourself, and the best way to recover, like, because I don't know how many times I need to eat per day, even, and what is the best food, for me to recover. Even in hospitals, they never gave me that information. So what is the best? Like, I think the best advice is to book Vasiliki and go for this nutritionist. Yes, but what is like some support, like woman who is out there maybe listening?
So, in my opinion, and based on my experience with my clients, like a general rule, I always recommend at least 5 meals after a miscarriage, because you asked how many times. At least 5 meals. In most of the cases, there are cases that the woman cannot eat. So just give it time. But let's say that everything is okay and you can eat. I always suggest starting by 5 meals. Again, because your body needs micro and macronutrients. You suffered bleeding. You suffered a miscarriage. So your weight has changed as well.
Yeah.
Your uterus.
Even hormones, like
for the people.
Hormones, because hormones, I never thought hormones are so strong. We were controlling my mind. I was not able even to think, and I was completely different person. And I think you can have even different session about the hormones, because
Yes, let's do it like a part 2, because it's a very big topic. We already talked about it a bit. For the people joining now, they didn't they didn't listen at the beginning, that we already said that one hormone, for example, that is very, very high when we suffer a miscarriage is the cortisol, because we are stressed as well. And the cortisol is the hormone of the stress. So in order to minimize it a bit, to calm down, we need our nervous system as well to calm down. And the folic acid and the vitamins D that we said at the beginning can help on that. Then, of course, we have a lot of things, and still mom covers all this, like with some exercise, the yoga session, the psychology session, and everything. But when it comes to food, in order to help with the hormones, especially the cortisol, is this. Are these 2 key micronutrients, and some more, but since we will do a part 2, we will analyze everything there. But as a step to take out something is this, starting by these nutrients, and the vitamin D and the magnesium, because of the mood and sleep. Foods that you can find magnesium and vitamin D are, for the magnesium, dark chocolate, because you have
has to be, because I like milk chocolate, how
So I always suggest at least 90%, not because it does not contain sugar. It still contains sugar, but it's a bit healthier because you have more cacao in there.
And cacao is good for
the magnesium, for the antioxidants that provide you.
Because I always see how like I see sometimes how people do this chia seeds with milk, soya milk, and we put this cacao, and I think, why we put this cacao powder, but you see cacao.
For the antioxidants, it is very high in antioxidants, the cacao, unsweetened one. this I always have to mention to my clients as well, that it needs to be unsweetened, because there are a lot of powders out there that contain sugar. You need to check the label again, as we already mentioned, to see if it contains sugar or not. A quick tip, again, I have a lot of tips now that I think about it. A quick tip.
Glucose is a sugar.
Yes. Yes, it is sugar. You can find sugar under many different names. It's not only that you will see sugar, even honey.
I always take the label and I see sugar and I see glucose, but they are two different columns, you know. So is it the same sugar, or glucose is like alternative for sugar, but in a healthy way?
It is alternative for sugar, but not actually in a healthy way. I will tell you why. As I said, honey is considered to be healthier. It can be because it has some antioxidants as well, but our bodies metabolize honey like sugar.
It's not healthy.
So it's not like it is 100% healthier than sugar. It is in some ways, as I said, some anti-inflammatory properties that it has, etc. But our bodies understand it, conceives it as sugar. So the body metabolizes it like sugar. The same with some sugars that you find on the labels under different levels. Under different names, sorry. And as I said, a quick tip is read the label, and whatever comes first on the ingredients line, it's the ingredient that it is more in the food. So for example, if you have the ingredients starting by sugar or salt or palm oil, etc., you understand immediately that this food is high in sugar, salt, palm oil, etc. So find a different option.
Or you have to avoid it. Okay, Vasiliki, because you know I asked about glucose, because when I suffered miscarriage, again, glucose was very important, because I remember they even gave me sugar in the hospital. You know my point. They gave me sugar in the hospital to put my mood up, I guess, to put my, I don't know, level of something. So what is alternative for that glucose in a healthy way, you know? Because I think it's when you person consumes chocolate or glucose, it gives you energy for 1 hour.
Yes.
No, for a short period of time. But what is alternative? Because when I'm very tired or I'm feeling no energy at all, I'm craving for sugar. You know, my body wants to eat with sugar to get this energy up.
Yes. I will explain first of all why you felt like this and why they did it, let's say. I assume, because I don't know if the hospitals in Luxembourg or whatever works the same. I assume yes. When you feel low, and maybe when you have low glucose in your blood, not only for your mood, but when you actually have low glucose in your blood, you need something to have it again stable or high. So what they actually did is provoke a glucose spike. So your glucose to go high again in order for you to feel better, etc., as you said. When we have what happens is that when we have glucose spikes, the same way that the glucose goes up, the same way it goes down and low again. So this makes you feel like craving sugar, craving carbs, because actually the simple carbs are the same like sugar, in order for you to have it stable again. And in my opinion, it is not 100% correct to do so, because as we said, you provoke your body to have cravings. And in order to cover your cravings, you need sugar, you need simple carbs, you need quick solutions, you need more meals that actually you don't need it. You need it at the moment to have your glucose stable again.
Yeah.
You provoke a glucose spike. So in my opinion, in order to have stable energy and feeling better, but in a regular basis, not only at the moment, is combine the foods correctly. For example, if you don't have glucose injected, as we said at the hospital, you can have some white bread, not only whole grain, white bread, but with protein, for example, some chicken, some red meat to have the iron, as we said again, some eggs, if you don't eat meat or whatever, some eggs, some cheese, and salad. When you have your salad with your meal, and especially start by the salad, start eating the salad and then the carbs and the protein, you manage to have your glucose stable. So your mood stable, your energy stable, avoid cravings, avoid glucose spikes.
And
So for
that's the point, Vasiliki. So how often do you need to eat? Like you said, 5 times a day to be stabilized, not to have this upside downs, 5 times
on
per day.
in order not to have your blood glucose up and down, you need at least to combine the food as we said and eat at least 5 times a day. When it comes to miscarriage, maybe you need to eat even more, but again, this is personalized, and as I said, or even less, because if we have a woman that is under depression, maybe she cannot eat at all, so there we consider some supplementation, supporting the psychology first, and then we implement step by step. This is the procedure that we follow. We implement step by step some foods, some meals until we reach the 4 to 5 meals per day in order to cover the macro and micronutrients. This is the goal.
Another question. Protein. People speak about this protein all the time, especially when a woman is older, that she needs to use. Yes, she needs to eat this protein. What is protein in simple word terms, and why she needs to eat? Because now we as well give me this protein. You're getting older, you have to eat protein. Why? What protein?
So it is correct in general terms that we need to eat protein, of course, and it is very, very important because we actually use it for almost everything, for our muscle mass, for our liver function, for everything. Okay. And it is the macronutrient, out of the 3 that we have, the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fats, that needs more energy, extra energy, to be metabolized, absorbed, etc. So especially when it comes to losing weight, because you said like the older woman that they struggle to lose weight because of the menopause, etc. We will maybe discuss about it at the second part because it comes to hormones.
For me, hormones is a very interesting topic.
It is. So when it comes to older women that maybe they have the menopause phase, etc., and they struggle with their weight, yes, they tend to eat more protein, and it is actually correct because they need more because of the extra energy that it is required in order to metabolize it, store it, etc., as we said. But again, when you eat more protein that you actually need and use, you can gain weight, not lose. Because I will give you an example. Let's say that you need, that your weight is 65 kilograms, so you need at least 65 to 70 grams of protein per day, at least. Okay. And you take 150 without exercise, without needing it for any other reason that the doctor or the nutritionist recommend. So the body will do what? Will store the extra that you take as fat. Our storage is fat cells.
So it's not anywhere out, it just keeps in our body till waiting for release, or what?
you need extra protein if you do more exercise that you normally do, for example, in order to support your muscle mass. Yes, but if not, you don't have to take too much protein. This is a myth nowadays with all these protein powders, all these extra proteins. Yes, and again, it can be personalized. I have clients myself that they are exercising a lot, that they do not have time to cook every meal. So maybe there we consider more protein and maybe a good protein supplementation once per day, for example. But if it's not the case, you don't need to take extra protein. You do not. I'm telling you like 100%.
Because
If
we
it's
only,
not,
okay, my other question, protein bars. Are we like, no, for example, if they gave me in hospital protein bar instead of chocolate, would it be better?
again, read the label. If they give you a protein bar and you read the label and the protein bar contains protein, but as well palm oil, so bad fatty acids, salt, sugars,
20
etc.
gram protein, 2 gram sugars, for
It's
example.
good.
It's good.
It's a good percentage. It's a good percentage. But still, you need to check the rest of the ingredients as well. I wouldn't give you, or you can do your own protein bar at home.
Yeah, that is another point. I think we should.
We need to say that this is the safest choice. We need to mention that this is the safest. But if they give you something like it is packaged, just check the label. If you have 20 grams of protein, which is good in one meal or a snack, in a general, as a general percentage, it's good, 20 grams. And 2 sugars is okay, but still check the rest of the ingredients as well.
So one protein per day, one chocolate, no protein bar per day is safe.
Yes, if it is like you said, with this amount of proteins, this amount of sugars, and still need to check the rest of the ingredients.
So the problem is, you see, when I suffered miscarriage, I was not very optimistic to cook food. Do you know my?
Yes.
I was not very into food because like you said yourself, I was not even wanting to eat food. For me, I think I suffered some kind of depression, so I didn't want to eat at all. I could drink water and sleep all day, and I didn't want to wake up from my bed, you know. And I think that is the problem that woman is suffering. I'm not saying all, but some, that we are not willing to check the labels, cook at home.
Common. It is very common. As we said before, it is very common. That's why I wanted to tell you that yes, 5 meals, but a lot of women cannot do even one. So step by step, if your body needs to sleep, just sleep. Especially if you have a supportive environment, you can always ask for them to help you a bit with the supplementation at the beginning or the food slowly. Introduce some food, especially the ones that we talked about. We can give people actually, and you and yourself as well, a good example of what to implement, to introduce first after a miscarriage. For example, for me, I always advise a complete meal that contains the good fatty acids, the complex carbohydrates, I will explain everything, the protein, a good source of protein, and of course fiber, salad, vegetables. And with all of this, we will cover all the things that we mentioned at the beginning. The folic acid, the vitamins B, I will tell them again for the people that are joining now, that I can see they are joining. So the folic acid, the vitamins of the complex B, the iron, the magnesium, and the vitamin D. So to cover all these and introducing slowly the food that someone can eat after not eating at all is a meal with the salad, broccoli, spinach, lettuce, green leafy vegetables, start eating the salad, there we can put some avocado, olive oil in order to cover good fatty acids as well that actually can help a lot with the inflammation, because strange as it may seem, you suffer inflammation as well after a miscarriage. You suffer inflammation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Inflammation. Can you say inflammation? It's when a lack of water, isn't it?
Sorry?
A lack of water or not? Inflammation when you're lacking.
It's not only about the water, but yes, the main, it's when you have retention, water retention in your body. So of course, when you suffer a miscarriage, you have water retention. Not only this, a lot of liquids in your body and your uterus is suffering, everything is suffering, but water retention is a common thing that can happen after miscarriage. So in order to reduce inflammation, we need to be well hydrated enough. Yes. Yes, and this is a good point, because a lot of clients are asking me, if I have water retention, why do I need to take more water in, to drink more water, if I don't want the water? Well, it's not this way. It doesn't work this way. We need the water for our system to start working again and go to the bathroom and out of sweating, reduce the water retention and the inflammation. You need the water in order to start going to the bathroom, sweat, etc., etc. So
Vasiliki, if I suffer inflammation, do I need to drink again 2 liters per day or even more?
Again, it depends. But yes, as a basis, we can tell 2.5 liters. And a good indicator, I will mention it here, as a general fact, as a generic tip, okay, as a disclaimer, I'm telling you, you can divide your weight by 30 in order to see approximately the liters of water that you need to drink. For example, if your weight is 60 kilograms, you divide 60 with 30, so you have 2 liters of water every day that you need to drink.
You have to wait because doctors always suggest to drink 2 liters per day, but I never thought that these liters has to be consumed according to your weight. You know my point? I never thought about that, but you have to basically.
It is logic. It sounds logic, but that's why I said it with a disclaimer. I said it with a disclaimer. It's not always the same. We have clinical cases that cannot consume too much water, or they need to consume even more. So it was a very generic rule in order for you to track down your water consumption, the water consumption that you need to have. So dividing your kilograms, your weight, by 30. You can see approximately when you are a healthy adult to see the water that you need to take. Yes, you can keep it as a general rule. And not only this, you have to be hydrated enough. You need to do the combination that we said by the salad, starting by the salad, and then to have the eggs, especially the yolks. Many people are afraid of the yolks because they want the protein of the white part of the eggs. The yolk is the
best protein is eggs.
The best protein is egg, but the yolk itself contains almost every micronutrient, a lot of vitamins, like vitamin D. Vitamin D, as we mentioned before, comes from the sun. The main source is sun. But if you don't have the sun, okay, you can have your supplements and some eggs or fatty fish like sardines.
Vasiliki,
so it's a treasure. Yes.
Different when you eat a boiled egg or cooked egg?
Yes, you can eat boiled eggs, cooked eggs, not fried eggs. The only thing I wouldn't recommend in general is fried food as well, because it is processed. It is high processed. It is considered high processed because of the high temperatures that the oil gets to have when you cook it. And the food that you cook, that you fry, absorb the oil. So it absorbs the bad fatty acids, because the good fatty acids, when you fry them in high temperatures, because of chemistry, they are bad fatty acids.
I wanted to tell you because some doctors recommend fat, you know, they recommend this fat, but when to get this healthy fat?
The healthy fat, very good question, because we mentioned that we need healthy fatty acids, but we didn't say what fatty acids and from what foods. So we need healthy fatty acids. So we mean avocado, olive oil, nuts, different kind of nuts. You can implement all this in your salad or recipes that you can cook. Or even sweets that you can make with a bit of avocado and nuts and cacao powder. Sorry?
Salmon is good as well, salmon.
I will tell you. And then we have the omega-3s, healthy fatty acids again, the omega-3s category that we need for our brain, for our mood again, especially after miscarriage, to reduce inflammation. Now that we introduce the inflammation topic as well, we need it to reduce inflammation. And the omega-3s, yes, the main source of the omega-3s are the fatty fish. But salmon, it can be high in mercury as well. And we don't want mercury. So if you want to eat salmon, of course you can, but again, the best choice is like the free salmon, the wild salmon. I don't know how to, yes, the wild salmon. And again, by checking the label, I would recommend, as in my sessions, some other fatty fish that are safer, let's say. For example, sardines. Okay. You can find sardines, bake them in the oven, not frying, and have the sardines. And it's not only about the omega-3s when it comes to sardines. If you eat it with the bone, I know it sounds a bit difficult to eat it with a bone, but you can, since it's a small fish, you can. You do not only have the omega-3s, but you have as well the calcium. It is an excellent source of calcium for your bone health. The bone of small fish, of little fish that you can eat, excellent source of calcium, and you need it for your bones.
I think I've seen sardines as well. I've seen that they are good. I'm just thinking, do they all come in the same, you know, packaging, or again they differ from one I don't know, vendor to another vendor, or is it safe to buy any sardines? You know my point, because there is so many sardines you can come, and I'm always lost with choices. Like you said, you know, it's so many information out there, but like you said yourself, the best is to read label.
This is the answer. It is. We already talked about it, that it is a very amplified topic. And nowadays, when it comes to food and the packaged food in general, the food industry, we have a lot of information. So in order to have the answers, first of all, yes, you need to advise a nutritionist. I'm not telling you because I am nutritionist, it's the truth. Advise a nutritionist and read the labels. And as we said, for the people to have a guidance, you can start by checking the ingredients. Whatever you have, like first at the ingredient, on the ingredient line, it means that it is the most in the product. So if you have, I'm giving you the same example, mercury, palm oil, salt, sugar on top of the ingredients, you mean that you need to avoid this food and look for another. This is a general rule that you can start following in order to make better choices, to have better options.
Yeah, I think what the people doing nowadays, we ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT to advise. on nutrition, on psychology, on relationship, and I always say, no, be careful, because ChatGPT is, like you said yourself, is general. He gives you general information about everything, but it doesn't give, like you said, nutritionists will give individualized approach according to your blood, according to your weight, about everything. ChatGPT doesn't have that information. He doesn't care about your blood.
And if you want, you can tell, because you asked before and we answered that, but it is okay if we give people like a structured, let's say, session. For example, when you have a session with a nutritionist or with a psychologist, via Still Mom in this case, we need some information. Your doctors need some information. Everybody needs some information in order to guide you. So some information that we need is, first of all, your age, your weight, your height, your blood analysis, your personal history, to see if you have any disease, if you had any disease, if you suffered a miscarriage, if you are pregnant, etc. What you like to eat, what you don't like to eat, if you have any allergies, any intolerances. So you understand that we need a lot of stuff, a lot of information to give you the correct advice and the correct diets and the correct guidelines. So everything that you will take out of the session is based on you, and it's maths. I always tell my clients that it is basically maths. I won't give you a diet without calculate based on your age, on your weight, everything that we said. I won't give you something without calculating everything based on your personal information. Again, the same when it comes to disease. If someone, for example, we can have a woman that suffered a miscarriage with diabetes.
Yeah, it's another topic.
A lot. This changed the situation 100%. So there, it's not only that we will give you recommendation only for the miscarriage, but we need to give you recommendation because you have diabetes.
Yeah, that is a good point, Vasiliki, because when we had our meeting with our specialists on our platform, we want to introduce this information, like at least first page. When you want to book a specialist, we want this information to add, like your age, your history, what are you eating, what are you suffering from, what is your request to in the session, because like you said, this information is requirement to understand for a specialist what you will be expect out of a session. It's a good point. Yeah, I can see already we're going to the end. It's already our hour finishing, you know. It was a very interesting topic for me, the same. I think maybe I want to ask the last question just during, again, my miscarriage, because it was my topic when I suffered it. So when I suffer miscarriage, I think anything people are suffering, or we want to lose weight, or we want to gain weight, or whatever, or miscarriage, we need to follow a healthy diet. Correct?
Correct.
And
100.
A healthy diet has 4 core principles. Is it correct? Because I think it was adequacy, balance, moderation, and diversity. This is like basic principles that a healthy diet has to contain in order for human being to function, to survive any disease or even trauma, miscarriage, and so forth. Is it correct?
Yes, yeah. It is correct. And this is the message that we want to give people out there. It is fundamental to follow a healthy diet, to focus on some specific points when it comes to miscarriage, because it's not a generic, we talk about miscarriage. So in order to recover from miscarriage, yes, it is fundamental, all the things that we mentioned when it comes to a healthy diet, and focus on the specific key points that we mentioned. The micronutrients that we mentioned, the supplementation that you might need, and the personalized approach. We talked about all these 3 key points, what micronutrients you need to focus on, the supplementation and when to get it, and that personalizing everything is very, very important, out of paramount importance actually. And we gave some tips for the labels, for the combining of the foods when you have your meal. And something that I want to make clear, to clarify, is that it is very, very normal. It is very normal for women to need their time, to take their time, to not want to eat or want it more, or it is very normal. Every woman has a different path, different pace, different rhythm, different environment, different body, different mind. So everything is normal. Everything is normal. And healing is not only one way.
Yes.
And it doesn't happen in one day to another, or one month or 1 year. It is different. And we are here. And we are help in different ways.
Yeah, Vasiliki, it's a very good point, because women always rush to feel better. You know, I want to rush, I want to prove, I want to show that I am capable. But like when I suffered miscarriage, it took me 1 year completely. I was disconnected from the world, and I was completely, like I said, it was as well hormones. And that's why the topic's very interesting for me further to discuss. And I would suggest even maybe our audience maybe to write us messages, which topics we would like to hear, maybe about menopause, maybe about hormones, about any other, and we can have another session again, and we can discuss it in more detail. Yes. So please let us know what is most important for you, and we will try to have a session. In any case, thank you, Vasiliki. Our recording will be on our wall, I suppose, and you can always revisit our conversation. We will put as well to our YouTube channel, but we have already Still Mom Official. You can always access our conversation. And if you want to book Vasiliki, you can go to our Still Mom platform, go to the Nutritionist section, and you can find Vasiliki and book her personalized approach. So thank you for your time, Vasiliki. Have a nice rest of the day. Thank you, audience. If you have any questions, please let us know for future topics. We would like, with pleasure, talk about them. And that's it, then. I wish you have a nice day, and follow us for more.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.